Hi my supportive parents, in this video we'll be looking at the difference between education and knowledge. This thing has been confusing most of the people. Remember, at Light Faith Academy, our message is success is wisdom. So sometimes people ask, how do you get this wisdom? So maybe the first thing to look at is to start by looking at the difference between education and knowledge. As far as we know, usually when we talk about education, there has to be some kind of a qualification that is linked to education. If you are saying somebody is educated, what do we really mean? Later in the video, we'll look at what Mr. Napoleon Hill, the author of Think and Grow Rich, the most popular book, to say what does he say about education. All right, but in the very first point here, education is simply a formal scripted learning process of gaining knowledge. If you get the two words, formal scripted learning process, it's actually a learning process, but it's scripted in a sense that people, maybe professors or those people who are extremely high qualified, maybe in the education environment, sat down and decided for them to say this person is qualified or this person is educated. He should be having some kind of a qualification or maybe an accreditation, some kind of a paper that shows that this person passed, maybe wrote exam, passed and so on. I mean, we know all the whole process. But in simple terms, education seems to be a formal scripted learning process of gaining knowledge. Whereas on the other side, knowledge is simply defined as an informal way of gathering information, both positive and negative. It can either be positive or negative. So in other words, knowledge is facts acquired from good education. From that education that we spoke about earlier on, gathering that information, gathering that knowledge also plays a very important role, because this is how we acquire knowledge. But that does not necessarily mean it's a good information or it's a bad information. It really depends on where that knowledge is going to be applied, or what are the intentions for acquiring that knowledge. Okay, and then knowledge is actually facts acquired from good education, number one, from peers. Sometimes we learn a lot from our peers, from our friends, from our families, from people that we spend most of our time with. And again, this could be good information or bad information. It becomes bad information maybe if it doesn't really help you to sort of achieve your goal. So maybe it's just a general knowledge. Sometimes it's good to have a general knowledge, but having a lot of general knowledge that is not helping you to solve your problems. You know what they say about education and qualification? There's a quote that I just read not long ago, which simply says, qualification is simply the paper, but education, it comes from how do you behave. It's just a paper, qualification, but to show that you're educated comes from how you behave. I don't know if that makes sense, but I hope it makes sense. The things that you do from the knowledge, that is what could easily define that you are educated or not. We sometimes see people who are educated but does things that are questionable. But maybe this video is not about that. Let's not even get there. And then again, consulting other people. You can consult other people. They teach you one or two things, and then you learn from that. That becomes knowledge. And again, extensive reading. When you collect books and read, you do your research, that also increase our knowledge. Very, very important. Getting to a level of wisdom. Experience comes from implementing what you know and analyzing the outcome. So if you gather that information and then you start doing something about it, that will result in having experience, which I think this is something that our education lacks. Just having knowledge without implementing it is actually something that could be a setback to most of us. It has been proven several times that you may have a knowledge, but if you cannot apply the knowledge, it's not really helping a lot. Okay. All right, and then there's something that I want to also share here, what we call teachability index, which is nothing but your willingness to learn versus your willingness to change or sacrifice. The thing that you are willing to give up with the intention of applying what you've learned. So what is it that, let's say for instance, you learn something, but you are not willing to give up certain things so that you can implement this thing. So if your ratio out of 10, from 0 to 10, if you don't get 10 out of 10, meaning your willingness to learn is not 10, and your willingness to change or your willingness to adapt if it's also not 10. So you're supposed to have 10 out of 10. If it's 10 out of 10, then you know that your teachability index is at the highest possible level, which is good, which is required. So that's another thing too to think about. Very, very important. Our willingness to learn must be at 10. You must get 10 out of 10 on the willingness to learn. At the same time, you must get 10 out of 10 your willingness to change as a result of what you've learned. I thought I should just mention that because it's very, very important. If we are willing to learn, but we are not willing to do the things that we have learned, eventually our knowledge will end up losing, the intensity of that knowledge. We end up forgetting, because we are human beings, we forget. But if we apply and then we start developing experience out of this thing and we start doing it, and then that builds an experience which eventually builds a wisdom. So I hope that makes sense, and please drop your questions if maybe there's something that doesn't make sense here, or maybe if you are not sure about certain things. Please drop your questions, drop your opinion about this thing, because this is something that we need to clarify so that our children understand why it is important to get to school, to get educated, because knowledge and education, both of them are extremely important. All right, and then the current education system, which was designed, if you look at the previous, the history and how it was designed, it was mainly designed to create more industrial workers and other recognized professions such as doctors and teachers, and those things are still important, but there are other opportunities that are available now, which we can sort of redirect our education system towards, so that we need to consider the market. What does the market need right now? What does the market require right now? Technology actually changed everything. The power of AI changed everything. I keep on talking about that because it's very, very valid and important. So the market is now saturated and obsolete in terms of creating industrial workers because of technology. In the previous video, I mentioned that the study about McKinsey Global has showed that about 800 million people are losing their jobs by 2030 simply because of technology and the use of machine. So we need to look at that. Very, very important and very urgent. Okay, and then again, it is getting outdated every day due to the advancement of technology and economic challenges such as closing of businesses. I already mentioned that. Lack of tech skills. We need our children to start learning tech. Gone are the days where you need to go to university to learn tech. Things like coding, things like robotics, things like computer literacy, things like AI as well. These things right now you can learn on your own. The power of internet. High value skills, the skills that are in demand and that are complex, those are the high value skills, as well as soft skills. I'll be creating a video very soon about soft skills and high value skills. You've got information about these things, why they are so important. And at the same time, there are more students seeking jobs than employment opportunities. That is also a reality. We see more students trying to find jobs, but employment opportunities are actually decreasing, especially in the normal business world that we know about. But if we adapt to the changes that are coming right now, like your technology and other stuff that are actually coming with this thing, like farming. Farming is, I think, agriculture is still got a lot of opportunities. There's others that you can go and look for, in terms of where are the opportunities right now, what are the things that you can start learning, and then, the things that will sort of give you skills as well, right? Another thing that to mention, digital marketing, very, very important. I actually teach digital marketing, and there's a lot of opportunities there. So that's another one to look at. I almost forgot. Right, and then according to Napoleon Hill, let's see what Napoleon Hill says about education. Napoleon Hill says that the missing link in all education system known to human development today is found in failure of educational institution to teach students how to organize and use knowledge after they have acquired it. It's the same thing that I mentioned earlier on, meaning acquiring and implementing knowledge Our institutions, they help our children to acquire information, but the problem is they fail to help them implement the knowledge. This is the reason why after they qualified, after they got some kind of a degree, they still have to go and look for a job so that they can build experience. But unfortunately, people who are, the business people, they don't have time to go and teach our children to get the experience. They want a machine that is already oiled. They want our children, when they give them a job, they want them to deliver. Remember, these guys are in business. They don't have time. Sometimes they're not even willing to spend money to train our children so that they can develop this experience. This is the reason why maybe we've got things like internship, 1 year internship, or learnership. Those things are also important, except for it's only for a period of a year. And our children, they've got a hope that after a learnership, they'll get permanent employment. So these are things that we need to look at. We need to have a kind of a system, education system that has got skills inside. From as early, from the earlier the better. From as early as grade, maybe just after foundation phase. The moment if we teach them knowledge, we give them the theory, we give them the academic part, but we also add skills on top of that, then we've got, I think we've got something to work on, we've got a brighter future. So again, most people do not apply what they know. This is one of the biggest problems. Most of the people, we already know what we're supposed to do on most of the things, but we just don't apply what we know. For example, if I have a mission to lose weight, I know exactly what I'm supposed to do to lose weight. It does not mean I don't know. I know I have to eat healthy. I know I have to, maybe take a walk, do some exercising. And I also know that I have to sort of, be careful on the things that I put into my mouth, exercising, learning about calories. So I know a lot we know what we're supposed to do, but the problem is we are not applying what we know. So that's another problem. All right. So it is very important to understand the real meaning of the word education, what it meant by an educated person. When we are saying somebody is educated, what do we really mean? Maybe right now I must just pose this question to you, my parents, wherever you are, to say, when we are saying somebody is educated, what do we really mean? Interesting. All right. But from our understanding from the previous years, whenever somebody's got a degree or whenever somebody's got some kind of a qualification, a paper to show, and then maybe he went through the graduation processes, he graduated, that person, we seem to see them as educated person. But okay, let's hear what Napoleon Hill is saying about an educated person. All right, and then when he explained this word education, he simply said the word education comes from Latin word which means educo. I hope I pronounce it well, which means to induce or to bring out potential, to extract within, and then to draw out something hidden, like superpowers. I call these things superpowers, something that is burning inside you, which is probably maybe it's your talent or maybe it's your soft skill, something that you can take out and help other people and use it to change other people's life. This is something that I call superpower. Okay, and then according to Napoleon Hill, is simply saying an educated person is not necessarily the one who has abundance of generalized or specialized knowledge, but the one who has developed a major division of knowledge, in that they may acquire anything they want without violating the rights of others. I want to repeat that. An education person, according to Napoleon Hill, is not necessarily the one who has abundance of generalized or specialized knowledge, but the one who has developed a major division of knowledge, in that they may acquire anything they want without violating the rights of others. I'm not sure how you feel about that. I'm not sure what you think about that. Put your comments, send your comments in the description. Send your comments and opinions, because this is basically what I see happening. Even today, still happening. Napoleon Hill, by the way, I said he's the author of Think and Grow Rich. This is the popular book about self-development, self-education, which I still find, this statement, I still find it relevant even today. This book was published many years ago, but even today it's still relevant. All right, that will be it from myself all about this video. Education according to Napoleon Hill, as well as the difference between knowledge and education. Thanks a lot, my dear parents. I hope this is something that you can share with your child. This is something that you can share with your other parents. And remember to subscribe and share this video, like the video and share it with other parents, so that we sort of help each other and spread the message. All right, until I see you on another video, cheers for now.